They dragged her to the center of the courtyard at dawn. No coat, no shoes, just a torn dress and a collar meant for dogs. Forsaken Omega. Cursed blood. Wolfless disgrace. Myra didn't fight. Didn't cry. Didn't even lift her head. She had learned long ago that begging only made them more cruel. But when the Alpha tore the last shred of dignity from her, stripping her of her role, her rights, and her pack name, she finally whispered a shaky plea. Please, let me stay. I'll work. I'll clean. I'll do anything. Cold laughter echoed across the stones. You? You're nothing. You're a mistake the moon forgot. The pack jeered. And then, as if summoned by the insult, a shadow fell over the courtyard. A presence so powerful the torches bent toward him. A pair of gold-ringed eyes locked onto Myra. Not with disgust, but with a fierce, startling recognition. The Alpha King of the Northern Dominion stepped forward, his cloak sweeping the stones like a storm front. Who, he growled, touched what belongs to me? The courtyard went dead silent. Myra lifted her head. And the moment her eyes met his, every dormant thread of destiny in her blood snapped awake. Her wolf, silent all her life, let out its very first cry. And the Alpha King heard it. Don't move. What comes next is the beginning of her rise. From abandoned Omega to the power the moon had been waiting to awaken. If you're here for slow burn chemistry, Alpha King obsession, wolf awakening under pressure, and a public lunar claim that destroys her former pack, stay. You're about to witness her transformation. Forsaken Omegas weren't supposed to live long. The stories said they were born wrong. Wolves that never shifted. Spirits that never bloomed. Souls the goddess forgot to finish. Myra Hale believed that. How could she not? Her pack sneered when she walked by. Guards shoved her when she carried laundry. She wasn't allowed to join meals, or festivals, or training. No wolf emerged when she came of age. No power flickered beneath her palms. No mate bond whispered her name. So she accepted her place. Invisible. Unwanted. Half alive. Until the morning her pack decided even that was too much. They gathered at dawn, dragging her from the cellar she slept in. The Alpha accused her of stealing moon grass, the sacred herb used for wolf rites. She hadn't. But truth never mattered. It's time we rid ourselves of this parasite, he declared. No wolf will ever claim her. No pack will shelter her. We cast her out. Myra bowed her head. If leaving was the only way to stop the pain, she would go. But fate, and the moon she thought had forgotten her, had different plans. Because on the edge of the courtyard, arriving to negotiate a treaty, stood the most powerful wolf alive, the Alpha King. And the moment his gaze landed on Myra, his entire presence shifted. From regal indifference to lethal, possessive stillness. He scented the air. His eyes darkened. His wolf surged forward in a violent, unmistakable reaction. And Myra, the girl who never heard a whisper from her wolf, felt something awaken in her chest. A spark. A flutter. A cry. A wolf's cry. The first she'd ever heard. The Alpha King took a single step toward her. Myra Hale, he said, voice like thunder rolling across mountains. Stand. Look at me. She obeyed. Not because she was commanded, but because something ancient inside her recognized him. And the Alpha King, whose heart had never stirred for anyone, felt the first pull of the mate he was never supposed to have. This was the moment the moon rewrote her fate. This was the moment her rise began. The courtyard of Silvercrest Pack had never been quiet. Training, gossip, footsteps, orders. It was always alive with movement. But the moment Myra Hale lifted her head and met the eyes of the Alpha King, the entire world stilled. Not a breath. Not a murmur. Not a heartbeat. Just silence. As if every wolf present sensed something ancient shift beneath the surface of reality. Myra didn't know what she expected when she finally dared to meet his gaze. Ridicule, disinterest, boredom, disgust. But not this. Not the way his gold-ringed eyes widened as if lightning had hit him. Not the way his aura surged outward in a silent, explosive ripple. And definitely not the way his wolf snarled from deep within his chest. A sound that made every warrior drop to one knee in reflexive submission. The Alpha King, Rowan Veilheart, stepped forward with slow, controlled intensity. No one touches her again, he growled. Voice low and dangerous enough to freeze blood. Myra's pack members stumbled back. Even her alpha paled, though he tried to hide it beneath a strained smirk. Your Majesty, Alpha Roderick said, bowing stiffly. This girl is a criminal. A thief. A wolfless. The king's gaze snapped to him. Finish that sentence, he said quietly. And I will finish you. Roderick swallowed hard. Warriors shifted uncomfortably, looking between Myra and the king as if trying to understand what they were witnessing. Myra's heart hammered painfully. Why is he defending me? Why is he even looking at me? She wasn't anyone. She wasn't even a proper wolf. Her legs shook beneath her, the cold stone biting through her knees. The king's eyes softened a fraction. Myra Hale, he said, speaking her name with a strange reverence. Stand. She didn't think her legs would obey. She didn't think she had the strength. But something inside her. Something she had never felt. Something trembling and newborn. Rose at the command of his voice. And her body obeyed. She stood. Slowly. Unsteadily. But she stood. And the king inhaled sharply. As if that small act confirmed something he had never dared hope. His wolf surged under his skin again. Myra flinched back, instinctively pressing against the stone pillar behind her. Rowan immediately softened his posture, lowering his shoulders. Hands open at his sides. A gesture no Alpha King ever made. A gesture meant only to show. I am no threat to you. Gasps rippled through the courtyard. Your Majesty, Roderick tried again, desperate to reclaim authority. She is nothing but a forsaken Omega. Her mother died giving birth to her. Her wolf never surfaced. She is. Rowan's head turned sharply. Do you think I am blind? He asked, voice deceptively calm. Or merely a fool? Roderick blinked. Rowan stepped forward until he stood between Myra and the entire pack. His broad frame blocking their view of her. Then, without taking his eyes off her, he spoke loud enough for all to hear. You claim her wolf never surfaced, he said. But I can sense her from here. Myra's breath caught. No. He's wrong. I don't have a wolf. I've never had one. But something inside her fluttered. A quiver, a stir, a faint hum just beneath her ribs. Rowan noticed. His gaze softened. There, he whispered. Do you feel that? Myra shook her head quickly. And no. I don't feel anything. Rowan stepped closer. Myra's pulse became a wild, trembling beat in her ears. He wasn't touching her. He wasn't even close enough to breathe the same air. But she could feel him. A warmth. A pull. A magnetic ache that drew her toward him. His wolf pressed at her senses. Not heavy. Not crushing. But curious. inviting. Myra's lips parted. She swallowed. I don't know what I feel. His eyes softened further. It's all right, Rowan murmured. We'll figure it out. We? Shock flashed through her. Why would the Alpha King speak of we to someone like her? Roderick stepped forward, voice rising in panic. Your Majesty, she stole moon grass. A punishable offense. She didn't, Rowan said flatly. Roderick froze. How can you possibly know? Because, Rowan growled. Moon grass responds only to wolves with magic running through their veins. He extended a hand, not touching Myra, just indicating her. And she carries more magic than anyone here. A chorus of gasps exploded around the courtyard. Myra stared at him as if he had spoken madness. Magic, she whispered. Me? Rowan nodded once. I knew it the moment I saw you. Her throat tightened. You don't even know me. Rowan's expression hardened. Not with anger, but with something she couldn't identify. Something fierce. Something protective. Something that made her wolf. The wolf she had never once felt. Shiver beneath her skin. You're right, Rowan said softly. I don't know you. He stepped closer. But my wolf does. Silence. Not a single wolf in the courtyard dared to breathe. Myra's heart thundered. What does that mean? Why would his wolf know mine? I don't even have one. Suddenly, a sharp pain stabbed her chest. Myra gasped, clutching her ribs. Rowan moved instantly. What's wrong? I don't know, she gasped. It burns. She collapsed to one knee. Warriors stepped back in alarm. Roderick shouted, she's infected. This is why she's forsaken. But Rowan ignored him entirely. He knelt in front of Myra, the Alpha King of the Northern Dominion. Kneeling before a supposed wolfless Omega. Myra, he said urgently. Look at me. Listen to me. Tell me what you feel. Pain flickered down her spine like sparks. Her nails dug into the stone. Her breath hitched in rapid gasps. It's like something is crawling under my skin, she whispered. I feel heat, everywhere. Rowan's expression sharpened. It's your wolf. Her eyes snapped open. No, that's impossible. I don't have. Myra, he said firmly, you were never wolfless. You were only suppressed. Another bolt of pain tore through her. She doubled over. Rowan caught her before she hit the ground, gathering her into his arms. She clung to his cloak, trying not to scream. Her former pack watched with horrified fascination. Get her out of here, Rowan ordered without looking at anyone but her. She's shifting. More gasps. Roderick stammered, that's impossible. She's 20. Wolves shift at 15, if she hasn't yet, it means she never. Rowan silenced him with a lethal glare. Move, he commanded. Warriors jumped aside as Rowan lifted Myra effortlessly. She trembled violently in his arms, sweat beading on her brow. Why is this happening? She whispered through clenched teeth. Because your wolf finally has a reason to wake, Rowan murmured. Myra blinked at him, confused, pained. A reason. He carried her out of the courtyard, past the warriors, past the stunned pack, straight toward the royal carriage waiting outside the gates. His voice dropped to a whisper only she could hear. Yes, he said. Me. Her pulse skipped. And then. The pain surged again, pulling a strangled cry from her lips. Rowan held her tighter. Breathe, Myra. Hold on. I have you. No one had ever said those words to her. No one. Myra's vision blurred. Her body shook violently as her suppressed wolf clawed toward the surface. Rowan brushed his thumb across her cheek. "You're not forsaken," he whispered. "You're awakening." Her tear-filled eyes met his, trembling. Why are you helping me?" Rowan's jaw tightened. "Because the moon doesn't make mistakes," he said. "And neither do I." Myra's world darkened at the edges. Her wolf roared inside her for the first time. And the Alpha King, the most powerful wolf alive, held her as she began the first shift that would change everything. Rowan moved with purpose, every stride smooth and powerful as he carried Myra out of the courtyard and into the shadowed path that led toward the forest. The chilled morning wind whipped around them, but he didn't falter, not when her body convulsed against him, not when her fingers tightened in his cloak, not even when her breath hitched in pain so sharp he felt it in his own bones. "Make it stop," Myra whispered, her voice strained, trembling. "Please. I can't breathe." Rowan held her closer, lowering his head over hers as if shielding her from the sky itself. "You're okay," he murmured. "Just breathe through it. Your wolf is surfacing." "I don't have a wolf," she gasped. "Yes," he said firmly, "you do." Another wave of pain tore through her body. Her back arched in his arms, her nails digging into his shoulders as if anchoring herself against a storm only she could feel. Her skin burned with heat so intense Rowan felt it through his clothes. Her first shift was coming too fast. Too violently. Too suppressed. He didn't like it. He didn't like that she had been forced into this moment without guidance, without knowledge, without any of the care a young wolf deserved. In that courtyard, she had faced her entire pack alone. And he knew, with a certainty that rattled him, that he would never allow that to happen again. "Myra," he said softly but with alpha still woven into the syllables. "Look at me." She tried. Her head tilted up, her lashes clumped with tears. She was shaking uncontrollably now, her breathing erratic. Sweat beaded across her forehead, sliding down her temple. Her skin shimmered, not human sweat, but something far more telling. Golden flecks glowed beneath the surface. Rowan inhaled sharply. Moonfire. Very faint. Very fragile. But there. He adjusted his hold, one arm beneath her knees, the other supporting her back. "We're leaving this place," he said. "Your shift won't happen where they can watch." She blinked in confusion. Where are we going?" "To safety." And then. He softened his voice. "I'll help you through the shift." Myra's eyes darted to the pack still lingering at the edges of the courtyard, their faces a mix of shock and spite. I don't want them to see me like this," she whispered, voice cracking. "You think I would allow that?" Rowan replied. The tone made her breath catch. Because it wasn't anger. It was protectiveness. Fierce, unyielding, all-consuming. He turned away from the pack completely, ignoring their stares, ignoring Roderick's stiff attempts to save face. Rowan's only concern was the trembling girl in his arms. Her pain came in another wave. She gasped, her knees curling instinctively. It's too early. Too much energy. Too long suppressed. Rowan felt her pulse race against his palm, fast, unstable. He had to calm her. "Myra," he whispered, voice dipping into the lower register that wolves responded to. "Listen to me. I need you to trust me." She swallowed shakily. I don't know how." "Then let me show you." He shifted her slightly, bringing her closer to his chest. Her forehead rested beneath his jaw, the pulse of her heartbeat aligning with his. Her trembling eased just a fraction. "Enough." "Good," he murmured. "Stay with me. Feel my heartbeat." Her wolf responded. The trembling lessened. Her breathing steadied for 3 precious seconds. But then. Another surge. Stronger than before. She cried out, her entire body arching. Rowan caught her head gently, holding her steady. "It's okay," he whispered. "It's okay. Don't fight it." I'm scared." "I know." He pressed his forehead to hers. "But I'm right here. I won't let you fall." Her wolf clawed again, desperate to surface, desperate to breathe after being smothered for 20 years. And Rowan, goddess help him, felt the stirrings of something ancient and electric inside himself. Not just recognition. Connection. Bond thread pull. He shut it down quickly. This wasn't the time. Myra was terrified, in pain, and entirely new to this world. She needed safety, not the intensity of a full alpha king's mate pull. They reached the forest edge. Rowan jerked his chin toward his beater, who had shifted into wolf form. "Clear the perimeter. No one approaches." The wolf vanished through the trees in an instant. Rowan lowered Myra gently onto a patch of moss where sunlight filtered through the canopy. Her fingers dug into the ground. The burning intensified. Her breathing became ragged. And Rowan crouched before her, steady and immovable as bedrock. "Myra," he whispered, "your wolf has been suppressed for too long. She's fighting to break free. Don't resist her. Let her rise." "I don't know how." "You do," he said. "Every wolf does. It's instinct." Her nails scraped the dirt. She gasped, eyes wide. What if she's wrong? What if I'm wrong? What if she isn't even?" Rowan caught her chin gently. "Look at me." She forced herself to meet his gaze. "I would never lie about this," Rowan said, voice low and steady. "I have led a kingdom for 10 years. I have seen wolves born from greatness, and wolves born broken. But you." He took in her trembling form, the sparks beneath her skin. "You are neither. You are a wolf who survived what should have killed her." Her breath hitched. "And that makes your awakening stronger." Myra shook her head. "Why me?" Rowan exhaled slowly. "Because the moon made no mistake." Her chest tightened. And then, the next wave hit. She screamed. Not a cry of fear. A cry of release. Rowan caught her shoulders, holding her as her spine arched and a cascade of shimmering light rushed beneath her skin. Her wolf was no longer whispering. She was roaring. "Let her through," Rowan murmured, brushing hair from her face as her body trembled violently. "She's been waiting for this moment far longer than you have." "I can't," she gasped. "Yes, you can." Her fingers curled into his tunic. "Don't leave me." He froze. Then he leaned in until his forehead pressed to hers, their breaths mingling, their pain shared. "I won't," he whispered. "Not now. Not ever." Her wolf surged in response. The clearing filled with light. Myra's back curved sharply, bones shifting under her skin, tendons tightening, magic pulsing. Her first shift was coming. Rowan held her through it. Every tremor, every cry, every flicker of fear. "Breathe," he whispered as her body began to reshape. "Let her speak. Let her rise. You're safe. I have you." Her wolf clawed forward. And finally, Myra screamed as the transformation began. Not gently. Not slowly. But in a breathtaking explosion of golden white light that swept through the clearing like a wildfire. Rowan's eyes widened. Not in fear. In awe. Because the wolf emerging from Myra Hale was not an ordinary wolf. Not suppressed. Not broken. Not weak. She was luminous. Radiant. Powerful in a way that made even the Alpha King catch his breath. And when Myra finally collapsed, half-shifted, magic crackling around her. Rowan caught her before she hit the ground. Her wolf eyes opened for the first time. Not brown. Not hazel. But gold streaked with bright silver. A once-in-a-century marking. The marking of a rare, gifted wolf. Rowan exhaled shakily. Myra. His voice broke. Do you know what you are? She trembled, barely conscious. And no. He smiled softly. Reverently. Devastated by the beauty of the moment. You are not forsaken. He brushed a glowing strand of hair from her cheek. You are chosen. Rowan did not move for a long moment. He knelt there in the moss, Myra's trembling half-shifted body cradled in his arms, watching the last ripples of silver gold magic fade across her skin. Her breaths came shallow, ragged. Her wolf eyes, still glowing faintly, blinked with confusion, exhaustion, and fear. He smoothed a hand slowly down her back, feeling the raised heat of her shifting bones. It's all right, he murmured. You did it. Your wolf is awake. Myra pressed her forehead weakly into his shoulder. I'm sorry, she whispered, voice shaky. I didn't mean to lose control. Rowan froze. Then he pulled back just enough to look directly into her eyes. You apologize for surviving, he asked quietly. Her lips parted. I didn't want to cause trouble. Or embarrass you. A low growl escaped him before he could stop it. Not anger at her. Never at her. But at the ones who taught her that pain must be silent. That agony must be endured alone. That her existence was trouble. Myra, he said, his thumb brushing her cheek, you do not embarrass me. She swallowed hard. You don't even know me. Rowan's expression softened with something deeper than she could understand. I know enough. He knew the moment his wolf lunged toward her. He knew the moment the mate thread flickered in his chest for the first time in years. He knew the moment she screamed and something in him cracked open like a fault line. But he also knew she wasn't ready to hear any of that. Not yet. Suddenly, a rustle broke through the trees. Rowan's beater, Selim, strode into the clearing in wolf form before shifting back into a tall, broad-shouldered man with storm-grey eyes. Your Majesty, Selim said, bowing his head slightly, Roderick and several warriors followed your trail. They're approaching. Rowan's entire aura shifted. Cold, lethal, Alpha King. Myra stiffened in his arms. No, she breathed. They can't see me like this. They won't, Rowan said, his tone sharp with command. Selim, hold the perimeter. Anyone who tries to cross it answers to me. Selim gave a humorless grin. With pleasure. He shifted back into wolf form, massive paws pounding into the forest as he disappeared into the trees. Myra clutched Rowan's tunic. They'll be furious, she whispered. They'll punish me for shifting, for what happened. Rowan cupped the back of her head gently, tilting her face toward his. Look at me. She hesitated. Myra. She looked. You are under my protection now. No one touches you. No one commands you. No one decides your worth but you. Her breath caught. But, you're the Alpha King. People will judge you. Let them, he said. Their opinions do not concern me. Her throat tightened. No one had ever spoken to her like that. No one had ever stood for her. Not once. Rowan shifted her carefully onto his lap, letting her lean against him while her bones readjusted beneath her skin. The glow faded, leaving her exhausted but fully stable. You need rest, Rowan said gently. The first awakening drains a wolf, especially one as powerful as yours. Powerful. He had said powerful. Huh? Myra shook her head, confusion clouding her expression. Why do you keep saying that? I barely shifted. I collapsed. That's not strength. Rowan's lips pressed into a faint smile. Myra, he said, brushing a loose strand of hair from her temple. Your wolf broke through 20 years of suppression in a single morning. Do you understand what that means? No. It means your wolf isn't weak. She's a survivor. A rare one. She swallowed hard. I'm just a forsaken Omega. You were told that, Rowan corrected. There is a difference. Myra lowered her gaze. His hand moved to her chin, lifting it again firmly, but not forcefully. Myra Hale, he said quietly. You are not what they made you believe. Before she could respond, a harsh voice cracked through the trees. Your Majesty. Roderick. Myra flinched instinctively, curling closer to Rowan. His wolf surged to the surface instantly. Rowan rose, lifting Myra with him as if she weighed nothing. He positioned her slightly behind him, not fully hidden, but shielded. 4 warriors stepped into the clearing, Roderick at the front. The moment he caught sight of Myra, disheveled and half-shifted, his expression twisted in disgust. There, he barked, pointing. You see? She's dangerous. Unstable. She. Speak one more word against her, Rowan said without turning fully. And I will personally remove your tongue. Silence fell like a blade. Roderick stiffened, his jaw working in anger. Your Majesty, he forced out, you must understand, she is an outcast. A cursed bloodline. We cast her out for good reason. Rowan finally turned toward him. And Myra, even in her weakened state, felt the air change. Felt the temperature drop. Felt a primal force roll over the clearing like thunder. Rowan stepped forward, each movement deliberate and terrifyingly controlled. You cast her out, he said softly, because she was more powerful than you. Roderick blinked. What? She shifted, Rowan continued. A late awakening, but a rare one. And you tried to kill her before she could become a threat to your authority. The warriors exchanged uneasy glances. Roderick sputtered, that's absurd. Rowan didn't let him finish. In my kingdom, he said, voice low. Attempting to suppress a wolf's awakening is considered treason. Roderick paled. Your Majesty, she's lying. I never. Enough. Just the single word cracked through the clearing with alpha command so strong every warrior dropped their gaze. Myra clutched Rowan's sleeve. He felt it. He didn't look back. But his stance shifted just a fraction. Protecting her. I am taking her with me, Rowan announced. She is under my guardianship by decree of the Alpha King. Gasps. Even the wind seemed to pause. Roderick stepped forward urgently. You can't. She's nothing but a. Rowan's eyes glowed gold. Finish that sentence, he growled, and it will be the last thing you ever speak. Roderick stopped breathing. Rowan waited. No one dared challenge him. He turned back to Myra. Her shaking hand had slid into his without her noticing. Her wolf, still new, still timid, whimpered softly, sensing danger. Rowan squeezed her hand gently. I've got you, he whispered. Tears pricked her eyes. Not from pain. Not from fear. But from something far more dangerous. Safety. We're leaving, Rowan said. He lifted her again, her body instinctively curling against him. Silver flecks shimmered faintly along her arms, the residue of her awakening. The warriors stepped aside immediately. Roderick remained frozen, face twisted between anger and terror. Rowan didn't spare him a glance. As he carried Myra out of Silvercrest Pack territory. A place that had never welcomed her. Myra felt something she had never felt in her life. Not rejection. Not humiliation. Not fear. But possibility. And as her head rested against Rowan's chest, she felt his heartbeat. Steady, powerful, warm. Myra, he murmured from above. This is only the beginning. Her wolf stirred. Not in fear. In recognition. The carriage moved smoothly along the forest road, cushioned wheels gliding over roots and stone as if the earth itself bent out of the way. Inside, the scent of herbs and warm leather filled the air. Soft furs lined the seats. A small lantern cast amber light over every surface. It was the most peaceful place Myra had ever been. Yet her hands wouldn't stop trembling. Rowan sat beside her, close enough that she could feel the heat of his body, far enough that she wouldn't feel cornered. His gaze lingered on her every few moments, not invasive, not demanding, simply checking that she was still breathing steadily. "You're safe," he said quietly. Myra nodded, though she wasn't certain she believed it yet. Her bones still ached from the partial shift. Her skin still felt too tight, too hot, too new. Her wolf, exhausted, whimpered softly inside her mind, confused, frightened, and painfully young. It made Myra's chest tighten. She didn't know how to comfort a wolf she'd never even known existed. Rowan noticed her stiff posture and the way she kept curling her fingers into her palms. "Talk to her," he said gently. Myra blinked. "Who?" "Your wolf." Her throat tightened. I don't know how." Rowan turned his body slightly toward her. The lantern light caught the sharp angles of his jaw, the gold in his eyes softening. "You don't need training for this," he said. "Just intention." Myra swallowed hard, glancing down at her hands. "How do I know she'll listen? What if she hates me for being too weak to?" Rowan's expression darkened. "Myra." She looked up. "Your wolf does not hate you," he said, slow and deliberate. "She has been waiting for you. For this. For her first breath. For the chance to finally meet the world." Myra's eyes prickled. She didn't expect tears so easily. Maybe it was the exhaustion. Or the fear. Or the strange, unrelenting kindness Rowan spoke with. She tried. She truly tried not to cry. But a tear slipped anyway. Rowan reached up, thumb brushing it away before it fell. And the touch, gentle, warm, grounding, sent a pulse through her wolf so strong she shuddered. "Myra?" he asked softly. "I just..." She inhaled shakily. "I've never had anyone defend me before. Not once." His jaw tightened in quiet fury. "They should have," he said. She shook her head. "No one cared." He held her gaze. "I care." Her breath caught. But he didn't elaborate. Didn't force the moment. He simply offered another presence, quiet, steady, patient. A presence her wolf curled toward instinctively. The carriage slowed. Myra looked out the window and gasped. The northern dominion, Rowan's kingdom, rose before them. Tall stone walls covered in flowering vines, silver lanterns lighting the path, wide gates that opened with a resounding echo. Guards knelt as the carriage passed. Myra stared, stunned. "It's beautiful," she whispered. Rowan watched her more than the scenery. "It's home," he said softly. Home. A word Myra had never been allowed to claim. As the carriage stopped before the palace steps, Rowan stepped out first, then extended a hand for her. She hesitated. Myra Hale, forsaken Omega, standing before the heart of a kingdom. A place she didn't belong. A place she couldn't possibly deserve. Her pulse quickened. Rowan noticed immediately. "Myra," he said, offering his hand again, "you're not entering as a servant. Or a stray. Or an outcast." Her eyes stung. "You're entering as someone under my protection." "But why?" she whispered. You don't owe me anything. No, Rowan agreed. I don't. His gaze deepened. And yet, I feel responsible for you. Drawn to you. As if the moon herself is pushing me forward. Her heart thudded painfully. Rowan exhaled slowly. Take my hand. She did. And when their fingers intertwined for the first full moment, a spark, soft, warm, undeniable, moved between them. The guards felt it. The air felt it. Myra felt it down to her bones. Rowan's eyes flickered in recognition, but he didn't comment. He simply guided her inside. The palace interior was even more astonishing. High ceilings with carved runes. Massive windows letting in beams of silver daylight. Hallways lined with polished marble and moonstone. Every servant they passed bowed deeply. Myra shrank back. Rowan immediately stepped closer. You don't bow to her, he snapped at a guard who dropped to one knee. She is under my protection. Whispers spread instantly through the hall. Myra's cheeks flushed. She leaned close to Rowan and whispered, why would you say that? They'll misunderstand. They can misunderstand, Rowan said, as long as they do not disrespect. Before she could argue, a woman stepped forward from one of the side rooms. Tall, elegant, draped in silver robes. She carried the air of a healer and the power of a priestess. Your Majesty, she said with a serene bow, the seer circle felt a surge of awakening. We assumed it came from you. But now, I see it was not. Rowan nodded. This is Myra Hale. She shifted for the first time today. The woman's eyes widened with awe. A late awakening, she whispered. How rare. How extraordinary. Myra took a step back. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cause trouble. But the priestess shook her head. No trouble. Only destiny. Destiny. The word made Myra dizzy. Rowan placed a protective hand at the small of her back. Lady Aradia, he said, prepare a chamber for her. And summon the circle. Her wolf is new. She needs grounding. Aradia nodded gracefully and hurried off. Myra blinked up at him. You're giving me a room. Here. In your palace. Rowan's expression softened with something dangerously close to affection. Myra, he said quietly, you nearly died today. Where else would you go? I could sleep in the servants' quarters, she murmured. Rowan stopped walking. He turned to her fully. Myra, he said, eyes sharp with command. You will never again sleep in a cellar. Or a stable. Or a room meant for those cast aside. Her breath stilled. You will have a room worthy of who you are. But I'm no one. You, Rowan interrupted, are becoming someone. His voice dropped. Someone powerful. Someone rare. Someone the moon marked for a reason. Her lips parted. But, why me? Rowan brushed a strand of hair behind her ear, his touch lingering just a moment longer than necessary. I don't know yet, he murmured. But I intend to find out. Before either of them could speak again, a loud crash echoed down the hall. A guard sprinted toward them, panting. Your Majesty, there's a situation at the south gate. Rowan's entire aura hardened. What happened? It's Silvercrest Pack. The guard swallowed. They've arrived. With weapons drawn. Myra froze. Rowan's jaw clenched with cold fury. Aradia, he barked. The priestess reappeared instantly. Take Myra to the warded chamber, Rowan commanded. Do not let anyone near her. Myra grabbed his arm, panic rising in her chest. I don't want you to go alone. They're here because of me. Rowan softened instantly, his hand coming up to cup her cheek. I know. Her breath shook. But listen to me, he said gently. You are not their prey anymore. And I am not letting them touch what the moon has placed in my care. Her heart stopped. He leaned closer. Not enough to touch lips. Just enough to share breath. You're safe here, he whispered. I'll make sure of it. Her wolf trembled. Not in fear. In recognition. Aradia guided Myra away, down a glowing corridor and into a room protected by shimmering runes. Myra watched Rowan over her shoulder until the door closed. And the last thing she saw was the Alpha King turning toward the threat with fury burning in his golden eyes. A fury born. Not of duty. But of protecting her. The warded chamber vibrated faintly as the protective runes sealed shut, silvery threads weaving across the door like living strands of moonlight. Myra stood in the center, trembling, not from fear of the room, but from the panic clawing up her throat. Silvercrest Pack was here. Armed. Ready to drag her back. Or kill her where she stood. Her breath came shallow. What do they want from me? She whispered. Aradia, standing beside her, rested a calming hand on Myra's shoulder. They don't want you, child. They want control. A new awakening threatens it. Myra's voice cracked. But I'm not strong. I'm not special. Aradia's gaze softened. Myra, wolves don't awaken at your age unless something extraordinary is happening. And no Alpha King defends an Omega with the fury Rowan showed unless something far older binds the two. Myra's pulse stumbled. Older? Bound? What do you mean? She asked quietly. Aradia opened her mouth. But the ground shook. A violent tremor. Then a roar. Deep, thunderous, alpha-born. Ripped through the palace walls. Myra felt it in her bones. Rowan. Her legs moved before she could think, carrying her toward the door. She laid a hand against the glowing surface. It pulsed back gently, rejecting her. Let me out, she whispered. The wards won't break, Aradia said softly. Not unless Rowan himself commands it. But he's fighting because of me, Myra said, her voice trembling. I can't let him face them alone. Aradia's eyes softened with an emotion Myra couldn't name. You care for him. Myra's cheeks warmed. I don't know what I feel. When he's near, I can breathe. And when he's gone, I can't. Aradia's lips curved knowingly. Your wolf has already chosen him. Chosen him? Myra opened her mouth to ask more. But another roar shook the palace. Her wolf surged to the surface. Not in fear. But in fierce, primal response. He's in danger. Her wolf cried inside her chest. Myra pressed both palms to the door. Open, she whispered. Nothing. The runes shimmered but held strong. Myra closed her eyes. Reached inward. Reached for the wolf that had finally awakened. Help me, she pleaded silently. I need to get to him. Please. Warmth ignited beneath her skin. Her wolf stirred. A soft voice, instinctive, wordless, rose from deep inside her. Mate. Protect. Light flared around her palms. The runes shuddered. Aradia gasped. Impossible, the wards are responding to you. A crack split through the glowing barrier. Then another. Myra gritted her teeth, pushing harder. Her wolf pushed with her. And with a burst of silver-gold light, the barrier shattered. Aradia stepped back in awe. You broke an Alpha King's warding spell. You truly are something rare. Myra didn't hear the awe or the warning beneath the words. She bolted. Raced through the halls. Her feet barely touched the ground as her wolf guided her, following Rowan's scent. That warm, fierce, grounding presence. She burst into the grand courtyard. And froze. Silvercrest warriors filled the space. Weapons drawn. Eyes burning with rage and desperation. And in the center, Rowan stood alone. Broad-shouldered. Battle-hardened. Aura blazing like a storm the moon itself had unleashed. Roderick shouted, "Return the girl to us. She belongs to Silvercrest." Rowan stepped forward, a lethal calm blanketing the air. "Try to take her." Roderick sneered. "She's a threat. Her power is unstable. She will endanger your entire kingdom." Rowan's lip curled. "You fear her," he said simply. "Because she's stronger than you ever were." Roderick's face flushed with rage. "She is mine to control. She was born on my land." "She was never yours," Rowan growled. The courtyard crackled with alpha power. Rowan's dominance pressed down hard, forcing some warriors to their knees. But Silvercrest fought back, tightening formation. Rowan's gaze narrowed. "Last chance. Leave my territory. Not without the girl. Then you die here." A clash seemed moments away. When Myra stepped out from behind a column, her voice shook. "Stop." Every head snapped toward her. Rowan's breath caught. Fear flashing through his eyes for the first time. "Myra." But she walked toward him. Slow. Unsteady. Determined. Her wolf walked with her. Each step sending ripples of silver across the ground. Roderick's eyes widened. What is she?" Myra reached Rowan's side. He immediately placed himself half in front of her, shielding her. But she gently touched his arm. "It's okay," she whispered. "It's not," Rowan growled. "They came here to harm you." She shook her head. "No. They came because they're afraid." She swallowed. "And I'm done being afraid of them." Her voice, quiet but steady, echoed in the courtyard. "Myra," Rowan murmured, "you don't need to do this." "Yes," she whispered, meeting his gaze. "I do." Roderick barked a laugh. "Look at her, trembling like a leaf. A true Forsaken." Light burst beneath her skin. Her eyes glowed silver gold. Her wolf, new, fragile, but fierce, stepped forward inside her mind. "Not Forsaken." Myra lifted her chin. "I was never forsaken," she said. "I was silenced." A ripple of magic surged outward, knocking loose stones back, making warriors stumble. Roderick stumbled as well, eyes widening. What is this?" Rowan's lips curved, not in amusement, but in pride. "Myra," he said softly, "your wolf wants to speak." Her breath trembled. Then, silver gold light erupted around her. Not a full shift, but an aura of raw, untrained power that made every warrior tense. Roderick staggered. She's dangerous." "No," Rowan said firmly, "she's awakening." Her power spiked again. And instinctively, without thinking, Myra reached for Rowan's hand. The moment their fingers touched, a bond thread snapped taut between them. Rowan inhaled sharply. Myra's wolf howled inside her. The courtyard went dead silent. Roderick's voice cracked. "Impossible. The Alpha King's mate bond is predetermined, he cannot." But Rowan already knew. He turned to Myra slowly, his expression softening into something devastating. "Myra," he whispered. "Do you feel it?" Her breath hitched. I don't know how to understand it," she whispered back. "You don't need to," he murmured. "I feel enough for both of us." Roderick roared in fury. "This is madness. She was born in my pack. She is nothing, she is." Rowan stepped forward, aura exploding outward. "No," Rowan said, voice low and thunderous. She is my mate. Gasps tore through the courtyard. Myra froze. Her wolf, small and new, whimpered. Then curled warmly around the truth. Roderick trembled. No, no. That's impossible. The moon wouldn't, she can't. Rowan's eyes glowed bright gold. The moon doesn't make mistakes, he said, echoing his own words from earlier. Roderick lunged. Rowan didn't even move. Myra did. A blast of silver gold energy shot from her palm, striking the ground at Roderick's feet, forcing him back on his knees. The entire courtyard fell silent. Myra looked down at her glowing hand, terrified and awed. I didn't mean to. Rowan stepped behind her, his hands coming to her shoulders. You protected yourself, he murmured. And me. Her heart raced. She met his gaze. Something in his eyes softened. Something warm, ancient, and unbearably tender. Myra Hale, Rowan announced to the courtyard, is under the protection of the Alpha King. His voice deepened. And by right of the bond forming between us. She is my chosen Luna. Silence. Then. A collective bow. Not to Rowan. To her. Her wolf cried with joy. Rowan leaned close, his breath brushing her ear. This is your worth, he whispered. And I will spend the rest of my life proving it to you. Tears gathered in Myra's eyes. But for the first time in forever. They weren't from pain. They were from hope. And beneath the rising moon, with the Alpha King's hand warm in hers, Myra Hale, once a forsaken Omega, finally understood the truth the world had tried to bury. She had never been meant to bow, she had been born to rise.